Guess what day it is?
Sunday.
Guess what day it is?
Sunday.
Huh? Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
It's hump day.
Sunday. Well, you know, it's also kind of something else, you know. It's, Yes, one of the geekiest days in the geekdom days of the year. Yes, geeks unite. This is your day. May the 4th be with you. When did they start thinking of this? Who came up with this idea? About the same time we came up with Cinco de Mayo? I don't even remember Cinco de Mayo being a thing until like 15 years ago. The summer of 77 at the drive-in theater. Okay? Who else saw it then? I was 16 years old at the drive-in all summer long with my crew that I hung out with. All right? I mean, it was the Iannello brothers, Tony Germano, Mike Giordano, Joey Inca, Johnny Mika, all of my guys. We all rolled together. We had a gang called the Rolos. That was the name of the game. The Rolos was the gang. All through high school. The Rolos. It wasn't the Rolos because we rolled. We did roll. It was the Rolos because Paul Iannello was the head of the gang. He was the oldest guy in the group, and he was the head of our gang. And he loved Rolos candy. And it was up to us, the younger guys, to always make sure that Paul had Rolos. He always had to have a roll of Rolos in his pocket. And if he would look up, he would be like, who's getting the Rolos today? No, we'll get it, Paul. We'll get you taken care of, Paul. We'll take care. We went to all the festivals at all the churches. You know, they had like the Italian festivals at all of the Catholic churches around town. We would roll around those things. We'd get in fights with other gangs. We'd go down to the beach, go to the drive-in. We go down to the beach on the shores of Lake Ontario. Did a lot of fighting. Older guys did a lot of drinking. Younger guys did a lot of, driving. We'd have designated drivers. Back then, the legal drinking age was 18 years old in the state of New York. Rolos. So we would roll up on the drive-in, and we would just hang out at the drive-in, and the Star Wars would be on. And we just would mock all of the kids that were dressed in Star Wars costumes and stuff like that. I mean, what can I say? I was that guy. All right? I was that guy. Geeks Unite, this is your day. May the 4th. We have got sports to talk about today. NBA and NHL playoffs. The Braves finally getting swept yesterday. But they have a chance to get the split in the 4-game series today with the Mets. I mean, this would be a great win to get out of New York with the split against the Mets, who have the second or third best record in all of baseball. The Yankees won their 11th game in a row yesterday. And apparently college football is dead. Or it is not dead. We will hit some thoughts on that as well. Phone lines are open if you want to get in, 256-576-4977. You can text the show at 7329-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. When did you first see Star Wars? Am I the only one that saw it when it first came out in 77? By the way, in 78, Grease came out with John Travolta. John Travolta was like an idol to, us, our guys. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, John Travolta represented the younger group. Sylvester Stallone was a hero to us. Not from Rocky, but from the movie Lords of Flatbush, about growing up in Brooklyn. The movie was called Lords of Flatbush. It had Perry King in it, and it had Sylvester Stallone. It's a great movie. The Lords of Flatbush. And then, of course, Rocky. So Stallone was our guy. and Travolta, and Grease came out with Olivia Newton-John, and we were all in love with Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newton-John was the bomb, and Travolta was just cool as hell. And so in the summer of 78, they played Grease, and they showed Star Wars again, the original one, which then we were all confused because then they came out and they said that the first Star Wars was really the fourth Star Wars, and that there was going to be a trilogy of, there was supposed to be 9. I don't know how many they ended up with. There was supposed to be 9 Star Wars movies, and the one that we saw, the original, was the first one in the second trilogy. The hell are they talking about? Trilogies and all this stuff. Who the heck knows what that is? Now it's not even called whatever it was called. Now it's called something. It's the only Star Wars movie I ever saw. It's the only one I saw. Now the original Star Wars is called something else. I don't even know what it's called, but it's got a different name than what it originally had. Grizz saw Star Wars for the first time in 2001. That movie was 25 years old by then. That's when he saw the first one. When he did the first one, like when they had the Star Wars, whatever they are, the fighter pilot jets flying through the Death Star, you know, when they had the big thing, they literally had they had a model of a Death Star that was like 6 feet around, and they had these little planes that they made, and they put them on a stick, and they put them, and they shot it, and people were like doing it by hand through the model, like that. And then they would erase the stick. That's how they shot. The original Death Star was like a model. Like a what do you call them things you snap together? I never had those either as a kid. It was crazy. Of course, now, it was all CGI. And there was no CGI back then. It was like Legos. That's what it was. Lego. I never had Legos. My kids all had Legos. I never had no stinking Legos. We didn't have stuff like that. We went out and played ball. We went out and played war. Remember, when I was a kid, single digits, when I was a little kid in the 60s and early 70s, Vietnam War was on. That's all we knew. We went out and played war. Anyway. Then by the time I was 12 or 13, we learned how to bet on sports, and then we just, bet on games and stuff. All the kids, all the Rolos. We have on going down memory lane. My Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. I do have a poll question up, and it must be a pretty good poll question because the results are very tight right now. The results are running very tight right now. We are in election season, aren't we? There was some kind of like primaries and stuff last night in Tennessee. I don't know when they are in Alabama. They're coming up. The poll question is, what bothers you the most in college football? NIL is getting 38.5% of the results right now. The transfer portal is getting 34.6% of the result. And neither, let's go, is getting 26.9% of the results. Go to the Twitter feed at Thom Abraham Show, or it's retweeted at 97.7 ESPN. Go there and vote. I'll leave it up just for the show. What bothers you most in college football? What do you think is a bigger deal? The NIL bother you? The transfer portal bother you? What is it that bothers you the most? By the way, speaking of Twitter, I don't know what the heck I did. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I posted a picture of a young girl with a 15-pound bass that she caught on the shore in Georgia of a little pond. I don't know what happened. I don't understand the analytics and all that other kind of crap. I don't know what happened. I posted this thing, and it has gotten at least a couple of hundred likes. I only have like 2,700 followers. It got a couple of hundred likes. It got retweeted something like 38 times or 42 times or some crazy thing like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know what happened. It's had the total impressions on it is like 130,000. The picture of a kid holding up a bass. I have no idea what the heck it is, why this happened. But it did. Anyway, that's at my Twitter feed. Don't like it or retweet it. Will you stop? I mean, it's constant. It's crazy. They picked up like 30 followers off of that thing. Anyway, you can watch the show on the Twitch at 97.7 ESPN, which is crashed right now on my computer. But that's pretty much, I don't know what's going on with Twitch. I recommend you watch it on the YouTube channel at 97.7 ESPN. You can like and subscribe there and get notifications there. We have a very active Facebook page at 97.7 ESPN. We may or may not have the show up there. You can check it out as well. There's all kinds of clips there. We call it Zone TV. All right, so we got Zone TV for you, and you can watch it on all these different platforms. Just go to 977ESPN.com and get links to all of that and get our app. You got to have the app. The app will give you Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4 in your pocket as well for our alternate streaming channels and more great programming. Now, this afternoon, right after this show right here, right after this fine sports radio show right here, we'll have the Braves and the Mets for you. I think that's true. I don't even think I made that up. I think that's true. I think it's right after this show is when the action starts for that. I believe that's true. Coming up in a few minutes, another Carey's Corner with Trash Pandas play-by-play man Josh Carey. The Trash Pandas have the best record in the Southern League. They won again last night, 5-0. And tonight, they wear the Star Wars jerseys. It's Star Wars night down there. If Grizz isn't down there, I'll be shocked. I'll be absolutely shocked. And I tell you what, we are going to give away, I don't know how many I got. I'm supposed to have like 20 tickets to the Wednesday night game. Grizz is going to check and see how many we got for tonight. I'm going to give away at least a family 4-pack, maybe 2 family 4-packs of tickets to Star Wars night tonight. I mean, I should have them. I haven't been giving them away. I don't know if anybody else has been giving them away. So I haven't given them away yet for tonight's game. But we'll find out what we got there. We'll give them away. I mean, Star Wars night actually seems to make sense for the Rocket City, right? I mean, if there were actual Star Wars stuff, it would be made here, wouldn't it? I mean, we would have made the Death Star in Huntsville. I mean, it probably was in the 80s. I mean, whatever. Remember in the 80s when Ronald Reagan announced the Star Wars Initiative? Remember that? Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to put satellites with bombs up there. We're going to fight you from up there. Well, ended that Cold War. Ended that friggin' Cold War in a minute. It was the end of that thing in a hurry. Remember that? We had to be involved in it. The Rocket City had to be involved in it. Why did they say in a time far or long ago or far ago, wasn't it? I don't understand it. Wouldn't Star Wars be in the future? Don't they say in the beginning, isn't it say something like in a place long ago or a long time ago or something like that? I don't know. Grizz will know. At the top of the 11, speaking of the Grizz, the voice of the Memphis Grizzlies, Eric Hazeltine, is back to join us after Ja Morant dropped 47 on the Warriors last night in a brutally physical game. Whatever we thought Trae Young was last year in the playoffs, Ja Morant is right now, and then some. And then some. I mean, Ja Morant is becoming a superstar right in front of our eyes. And I don't think this is going to go away. But what a physical game this was. I mean, 2 games into the series, and it's like a WWE Royal Rumble. I mean, go ahead and pave the court, right? Go ahead and put up the chain nets. No blood, no foul. Then we had blood. And then early on, Dylan Brooks with a hard foul on a Glove Jr., Gary Payton's kid. Payton ends up with a fractured elbow. Steve Kerr, the pompous lefty head coach of Golden State, said after the game, I don't know if it was intentional, but it was dirty. There is a code. This code that players follow where you never put a guy's season or career in jeopardy by taking somebody out in midair and clubbing him across the head, ultimately fracturing Gary's elbow. He broke the code. Dylan Brooks broke the code. So, hey, Coach Pompous Ass, what is the code for your guy, Draymond Green? What's the code there? When Green went down later in the game, he had to go to the locker room, and the crowd was all over him, so he flips the crowd off, a la Kyrie Irving. Why do that? What does that do? The going rate for the finger apparently is $50,000. Although I think Kyrie did 2 fingers. Did he go with a double gun? That would be $25,000 per finger. I think he went double guns. So I don't know if Draymond Green will get $25,000 fine or $50,000 fine. He's not bothered by the fine. He says he makes $25 million a year, so he'll be all right. $50,000 for that guy. A $50,000 fine for a guy making $25 million a year is a $100 fine for a guy that makes $50,000 a year. He said it was worth it. He said it made him feel better. I don't know. Over there in a little glass room playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air. And if it makes him feel better, go ahead and flip me off, Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
If you want to flip me off, if it'll make you feel better, I won't fine you at all, okay? You can flip me off if you want.
I mean, we really can just do it on the stream. I mean, the stream is fair game. I mean, I could flip you off right now if I wanted to on the stream, but I'll refrain.
We want a modicum of professional,ism.
I'll refrain. But no, I won't do it to you. And yes, may the 4th be with you and with you all the listeners out there.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
isn't that what they say at the beginning? It was a long time ago or something?
Yeah, so like the first set of so like the movies that were made in the 2000s, those movies were like those are the first movies. That's like the first generation, basically.
Yeah.
And then the movies that were made in the late 70s, early 80s, those were the second, obviously, the next generation. And then obviously these next saga of movies are after all of that. So it's kind of weird how they set it up, but because a lot of people like to be movie critics, because you see all the new movies, or the newer movies, the ones in the 2000s or whatever, all the ships and everything like that are much better because of CGI and everything like that. And it's just like, you go back and you watch some of the old movies and you just love the nostalgia of them actually like pushing buttons and moving dials and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be, in advance. So, but
they do say long ago, right? Or long
yeah,
time
because
ago?
it's
in a galaxy far away, or long ago.
Yeah, because it's based off of a lot of the books that are written and a lot of the stories and a lot of the history behind basically all the little sagas. So the Skywalker saga and everything that kind of goes about in the original trilogy.
Yeah. So did you see that Dave Chappelle got attacked on the stage? When did that happen?
I didn't really look into that, but I know they said something about it this morning.
Yeah, it just happened. I think it happened yesterday. He was filming for that Netflix as a joke thing, and the guy who attacked him ended up.
I think he said, was that Will Smith or something like that? He just kind of cracked a joke.
That's what Chris Rock said. Chris Rock said,
Chris
was that Will Smith? He was there. But did the guy, it's gruesome. The guy who attacked him ends up like with his elbow backwards.
Yeah, it looked like he broke his arm. I did see the video of the guy getting like pulled out of the arena or whatever, and it looked like his arm had gotten broken, because I'm sure a couple of security guards got a hold of the man and they made sure that this man did not. But to be honest with you, I would not run at Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle has gotten a lot bigger since he's been on stage again, and like I would not want to tangle with.
I don't think you want to mess with that dude. I'm not
Dave
sure
Chappelle is a lot more like beefy. Like, he got bigger. So I wouldn't want to try to tackle him, to be honest with you.
He's
a funny guy. I would sit in the crowd like every other fan and want to enjoy, whatever amazing stand-up he's going to do.
All right. By the way, I'm retweeting something right now. Yesterday, Jameson Williams and Aiden Hutchinson were introduced to the Detroit media, holding up their jerseys. You got to see the look on Jameson Williams' face. I'm just going to say right now, he went from the Tide to the Lions. All right? He went from the Tide to the Lions. Don't look real happy, man.
Yeah,
he don't look real happy.
Maybe he's just naturally like that. Like, some guys just don't smile.
Are you kidding me? Do you remember him no, he was always had a huge smile and everything. When he was at the draft and everything, he had a red suit on.
He knew immediately that his career was going to but my thing is, it's like, hopefully, he doesn't look too bad into it, because they've got a nice little receiving core.
You never know. I mean, Jared Goff, he's been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and
they've got the other St. Brown kid.
Someday, I mean, a team like the Lions, like it happened with the Browns when they went to the playoffs and won it, beat the Steelers. All of a sudden, it's going to happen where the Lions are going to go 12-5 or something. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. And by the end of the season, we'll be thinking about them as being a good team. I don't know when, but we'll think about it being them being a good team. All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, let's talk to Josh Carey, Carey's Corner. I mean, those boys are on a run, man, right now. They are on a roll. But we'll talk country hardball with him next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access.
Number 1 pound for NBA playoffs. The Sixers and Heat in Miami for Game 2 in the East semifinals. Miami up a game and an 8-point favorite tonight. 207.5 the over-under. In the Western semifinals, the Mavericks +6 at the Suns. 216 the set total. After playing a doubleheader on Tuesday, the Braves and Mets once again this afternoon in New York. Atlanta +105 Moneyline Road underdogs. New York minus.
More than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedics, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors. TOC Sports Physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The Kentucky Derby is this Saturday, and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar impressions of pure burger amazingness. Then now is the day with premium Angus beef for just $25. Log on 977ESPN.com beginning Friday morning and get your Bad Daddy's Zone deal before they're gone.
What's better than Drake and Airport Road and their second location on North Memorial Parkway, just north of Winchester Road? Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now, because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Of all the multitudinous manifestations that water can take, in oceans and ice cubes, in glaciers and streams, vapors and rain, double black diamonds, lap swims, and brains. Of all that water everywhere, only 0.5% is fresh water available for human use. That's why at Moen, we're innovating to save 1 trillion gallons of water by 2030. Discover Mission Moen at moen.com.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock. From Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse
thing. And with WoW Internet, everything is good. Good streaming, good shopping, good gaming. And with an extra reliable connection, it's all good all the time. Get super fast gig speed internet from WoW for only $49.99 a month. Plus get $300 on us when you sign up at Wowway.com. Wow, that's good internet. Wow. Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Subject to change. Terms apply.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. Not everybody's going to get wet. Not everybody's going to get wet at the exact same time. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the lower 60s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Thursday afternoon, though it is going to be significantly warmer. Scattered showers are possible across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and even upper 80s. A cold front moves through the Tennessee Valley as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Download our app today. Just search 97.7 ESPN.
It's water and dust resistant.
That's 977 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And that's it.
Talking baseball.
By North Alabama Mortgage. That's right, North Alabama Mortgage. You know, right now it's very competitive out there in the home buying market, but North Alabama Mortgage can help you get your offer accepted. What am I talking about? Well, go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com, contact them, and learn more about how they can help you get your offer accepted. Rates are going up right now, so it's a great time to jump in, lock in a lower rate, and you know, maybe do some home renovations if you're doing a refi. This would be a good time to do it because these rates have been going up. They're doing conventional VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They do it all. And Brian Hammaker and his crew are just treat you like family. They will just absolutely treat you like family. It's North Alabama Mortgage, NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
They're all waiting. And why are they waiting?
Because Stanton caught the ball.
Because Stanton caught the ball. I wonder if my friend Josh Carey from the famous Carey Broadcasting family heard John Sterling with that call the other night. John Sterling faux pas. I mean, if you're listening to a Yankees game with Sterling and Susan Waldman, it's like Stiller and Mira or whatever. You know, it's hilarious. Stanton caught the ball.
Yeah, well, that was the first time I heard that one. But I did hear the other one. Reminds me of Grandpa late in his career with the Cubs. You know, Grandpa suffered a stroke in 1987, and progressively as he got older, you know, his people forgot just how good he was, and he became a caricature. And you hope that's not becoming the case as he is to Yankee fans. But it gets to a point where you have to say to yourself, you know, one, are you doing right by the fans, and are you doing right by John? And I know him a little bit just through his time with my dad. He's got a little OCD for him.
It's embarrassing. I mean, it's a little bit. It's embarrassing. It is. And I watch more than I listen. You know, but I do listen on the weekends when if I'm doing something or if I'm fishing or whatever. I'll listen to a ball game. And by the way, I had a chance to listen to you a little bit the other night. You're good at this. You're good at this, Josh Carey. You're pretty good at this. I like the delivery, the style, the pacing. You've been working on this for a minute.
I appreciate it. You know, you go back to Sterling for a moment. You know what it reminds you of? It's a broadcasting version of Willie Mays in the '73 World Series.
Oh yeah, stumbling around the third base. It's bad.
Yeah, but you know, we'll see what they can do. But I appreciate the kind words. You know, I sometimes wish I had someone up there to kind of banter with. I think that would make me a lot better. But yeah, I've been around a minute, so I'm pretty good. I like to think I'm halfway decent at this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's always good, especially in baseball. It's always good to have a couple of guys up there and have that kind of back and forth. And for me, you know, everybody remembers the guy they grew up with. Well, it was your grandfather and your father, you know, that listening to. For me, back in the day, Bill White, Frank Messer, and Scooter. You know what I mean? Listening to those guys do a game. And then they would rotate, you know, like Scooter would leave for 3 innings. He'd go over to the TV side. And then he would be on the Tappan Zee Bridge by the 7th inning. You know what I mean? He'd be out of there early. But Frank Messer and Bill White, they were like the perfect broadcast. And they did like all of the games. And Michael Kay, I love Michael Kay. I've had him on. When I did some spring training games, I had him on in pregame with me, and I've had him on the show a couple of times as well. I'm a big Michael Kay fan. But he does like 120 games, maybe 125 games, and then you get all of these other guys. These major league teams, a lot of them now, It seems like they've got like 7 or 8 broadcasters, and you can't really identify with one guy that much. I think your brother does pretty much all of the Braves games. I don't really ever hear somebody else doing a Braves game on TV.
Yeah, well, Chip, I mean, that's Chip's choice, too. I mean, that's what he's a little OCD like that. He wants to do every single one. But I think what's become difficult now is there's so many broadcasters who, one, don't want to do the 120 and 140, 162 game grind. And so you got to find enough people who are going to fill all those games. That's number one. And number two, when it comes to at least the play-by-play broadcasters, a lot of them are doing other events. They're doing other sports, whether it's basketball, football, whatever. And a lot of the broadcasters, and this is Chip's case, they're not employed by the team. A lot of them are independent contractors. And so Chip, and this really hurt him during the pandemic, he's paid by the game. And so when, the pandemic was going on, he had only 60 games to do. Well, that really cut into his income. And so he's paid very well, don't get me wrong, but he's paid by the game. And so, it really encourages them to do 160. But for some of the other broadcasters who have other events that maybe pay just as well, if not better, there's a little bit of a desire to maybe not do as many games and try these other ventures so they can make as much money as possible.
Well, I remember when Eli Gold a few years ago during a bye week did the Tennessee-Georgia game, and Alabama fans went nuts. They're like, what the heck is he doing? Why is he doing the Tennessee-Georgia game? He was on the national network, and he did the Tennessee-Georgia game, and he had to tell the people. He said, look, he came on the show, and we were talking about the heat that he took, and he's like, I'm a pay-per-game employee, basically. He goes, I'm a broadcaster. I do games, and I get paid per game that I do. Even by the university. It's not like I'm a university employee. They hire me as a contractor to do the games. And if I got a bye week, I got to do a game, and so I go do a game. And they crushed them because, you can't be, you're the Alabama, you're the voice of the Crimson Tide. What are you doing the Tennessee-Georgia game for? And people don't understand that a little bit. Yeah.
That's the way it was for me when I was at Stony Brook. That's what happens to me when I do my freelance stuff for Alabama. I mean, everything is per game, and it makes sense. I mean, this is the biggest thing that people misconstrue about our industry is that they think everyone is paid, $100,000, $200,000 for doing, 6 months of work, and that's just not the case. Yeah. You have to pay in order to make that type of money. You got to do a lot of work. And you're usually paid per game. And if you're not doing that type of work, you usually have to do something else on the side. That's why you hear a lot of these broadcasters at smaller schools, they'll sell insurance as like a full-time job, and then the play-by-play stuff is like a side gig for them, right? There was a guy at Illinois State who just retired. He sold insurance his entire life and then would call Illinois State football and men's basketball on the side, and that was his passion, but the insurance was his income. And that's the way it is for a lot of people. I'm very blessed to be with the Trash Pandas, but, I work during the season, doing the games, and then the off season I sell advertising. So without the sales, I'd be, probably bartending somewhere or waiting tables.
Eli and I were working on a contract to do a show together back in, 10 or 15 years ago. I guess it was 10 or 12 years ago now. But he one time told me, he said, you make more for your radio show than I do as the voice of the Crimson Tide. And I was under the same impression that what you're saying. I figured that's got to be 6 figures, and he's the voice of the Crimson Tide. He said, no, and he told me what he was making, and he knew what I was making, and he's like, you're making more than I am. Now, he also gets speaking engagements. He goes to Hawaii with the team. He has the opportunity to write books. Yeah, he makes money off of doing books. He does shows. He does all that other kind of stuff. But, a game-to-game basis, I think people would be stunned if they knew what that was.
Yeah, and you know what? It's fair. I mean, you think Eli Gold is going to get paid $100,000 for working 12 days out of the year? Come on. Yeah. I don't care how good you are. No one's worth that type of money, and the Crimson Tide would be foolish to pay anyone that type of money, whether it's Eli or Josh or Chris Stewart or Thom Abraham. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's the going rate.
The Trash Pandas are absolutely rolling. Josh Carey with us, the voice of the Trash Pandas. Best record in the Southern League. Won again last night, 5-0, allowing Brett Carey. They allowed just 3 hits on the night. Carey with another great outing. I don't know how much longer we're going to see this kid. But, boy, this team, the combination of pitching and getting some timely hitting, and they are really, really fun to watch. Trey Cabbage, the Southern League Player of the Week.
Yeah, the thing, Tom, is they're such a good team, and they're such good guys, too. I mean, Aaron and Trey have both just been a delight with the fans, and they've been great to get to know. And Brett, I've gotten to know a little bit, too. He's got a little bit more of an edge to him, and I mean that in a good way. They've been such a fun team to watch. They're always running. They're always moving. Last night, the team didn't even hit a home run. There were 11 walks by the Lookouts last night, but they also forced the issue a lot. I mean, they had guys on the move. There were a couple of errors made by the Lookouts as well. And so they keep the game fun. They keep it exciting. They keep everyone on their toes. I think Brett will still be here for about another month at least. He came off a real rough outing against Birmingham the week prior. But you're right. What I hope they do is try to keep the guys here at least to the end of June, so we can see if the Trash Pandas can get a first-half divisional title and clinch a playoff berth. But the way they're going right now, boy, it's going to be hard to keep them down here for too long. So let's enjoy them while they can, folks, because I highly doubt they'll be here in September.
Yeah, it's a great point. Tonight, though, is going to be a lot of fun. It's dog night, as it is every Wednesday night there. And, in fact, I have a family 4-pack of tickets I'm going to give away tonight. Grizz, I better have them. A family 4-pack of tickets for Star Wars night tonight that we'll give away. If you want them, I'll tell you what, be caller number 3 right now while we're talking to Josh Carey at 256-576-4977, and we will hook you up with a family 4-pack of tickets for Star Wars night tonight. The team will wear Star Wars-themed jerseys. It makes perfect sense because, as I said in the open, if there was really a Death Star, it would be built here in Huntsville. I mean, it makes sense for the Rocket City to have Star Wars night. And then afterwards you can buy these jerseys, right?
Yeah, you can auction them off. We'll auction them off after the ball game, and obviously highest bidder wins. We did that once with our space jerseys during the first homestand against Pensacola, and then we're going to do another one later in the year on Independence Day, and I think we have another one late in the season as well. But that's a typical thing we do. So, yeah, come on by to the game. We'll have a table set up where you can enter your bid. And then when that winning bid comes in, we'll call the winner. Don't worry, we'll wash the jerseys, make sure they're nice and clean for everyone. And, yeah, you'll be able to pick them up at the ballpark sometime in the next couple weeks.
Finally, we're a month into the season, and it's official. The ball is dead, kind of dead. Well, it wasn't dead last night when when Aaron Judge hit one about 435 feet. That didn't look too dead at that particular point in time. But a lot of balls going to the wall, not going out, going to the warning track in the majors. And now the data is coming in. The league-wide batting average of 231 is the lowest through April in Major League Baseball history. The OPS is the lowest since '68, the year of the pitcher, when they had to lower the mound. The runs are the lowest. That was the lowest runs for the month of April since 1981. And, Josh, I understand with the home runs being down, but what I don't understand, I don't know how the ball affects the fact that the averages are down. I think that this is, we need to kind of rethink things. And, maybe the ball doesn't fly like a golf ball anymore, but that doesn't mean guys can't make contact and start getting some singles and doubles and moving things along.
Yeah, but think about it now. Why are guys' averages down? Because their swings are all out of whack.
Yeah.
Everyone's gunning for the home run because that's what they've been doing for the last decade. And so now you deaden the ball a little bit, and you got guys who now actually have to swing the bat like a normal human being and earn their way on base instead of just flicking the wrist and having the ball take off like it has the last decade or so. Favors the pitcher. And if this helps the game get back to where it was in the 80s and 90s, I don't know the answer to this. Has it talked about time of game, pace of play, things like that?
No, nothing is. I mean, right now the pace of play has not picked up at all. We have the universe with the DH in the National League, half of baseball. the average is still the lowest ever. So, I mean, it kind of goes to where we're at, right now with the game. The thing is that with this ball, what I do like is that it does separate real home run hitters. I mean, Austin Riley is a home run hitter. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, those guys, that's not going to necessarily happen. So if you have some pop in your lineup, those guys will stand out again, I think.
Yeah, and that's how you want it to be done. And what's also going to do, it's going to encourage pitchers to attack the zone. They're not going to be afraid to bust a guy, the 185-pound second baseman. They're not going to be afraid to bust him inside, which is what a lot of pitchers have gotten away from, which, again, and I know we talked about this last week, if they can get the pitch clock involved in that, and we've seen it here at the minor league level.
Oh, it's happening.
They get the pitch clock installed, oh, my goodness. It's really going to make, I think, the game a lot more pleasant to watch. I know that people are saying, okay, the numbers are different.
Throws a pitch right down the middle. The umpire misses it. The umpire admits he misses it as they're going off the field afterwards. He says, my bad, and it was, I blew that call. But what if the next guy up, had come up? What if, Matt Olson came up and hit a home run that changed the game, and then all of a sudden, the Braves win that?
I still love the human element, and I've always have and always will. But if this is going to prevent any more Angel Hernandez meltdowns, then I guess I'm all for it. And, here's the deal. We'll see if it works. I mean, maybe they implement it, and 5 years later, they realize, okay, this wasn't such a great idea, and they get rid of it. But, again, if they prove that it works and it helps with the game and improves the play, then, I have no problem being wrong. I'm just – anytime we micromanage people, I'm never a fan of it, and I just feel like we're micromanaging right now. But who knows? It may work.
Well, yeah, and they've got the goofy rule. You get one challenge, for replay, which was weird because in the Yankees-Toronto game last night, it was a 3-1 game, and clearly Vladimir Guerrero tags out the base runner in a rundown that the umpire says he didn't tag him, and he scores, make it 4-1. The Yankees go on to score 3 more runs in an inning, blow the game wide open instead of the inning being over at 3-1. And the replay showed clearly that Guerrero tagged the runner halfway down the baseline, but the ump called it safe, and there was no recourse. And I don't understand why there isn't an eye-in-the-sky type deal where there's an umpire up in the booth. We knew 15 seconds later that tag was made. 15 seconds. The first replay they showed, you could see that the tag was made, and that guy was out, inning over, 3-1 Toronto, and they...
Well, and if that's the case, then why don't we just get rid of challenges and let someone call down and say, hey,
hey, you missed it. Yeah, it would have taken literally, I mean, there was a play at first. It was the same way. It was bang, bang, play. But the first replay, you told it, and all you got to do is buzz down to the umpire, the guy up there who's got the replay, and say, oh, by the way, he's safe. Okay, safe. End of story. Let's go. Play ball. I mean, that's it. You don't have to look at it for 15 minutes,
But then the question becomes this, Tom, what's the use of umpires then?
Well, because 98% of the time they get it right. I mean, they're going to get it right most of the time. You might have 3 or 4, instances a game where you have something like that where you say, well, wait a minute, that, they tagged them. It was a key moment. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you as always. Enjoy May the 4th and have a great time at the game tonight.
All right, partner. You have a good one.
All right, thank you. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back and set up hour number 2 next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
When shopping for your new home, if you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Thom Abraham here for my friend More Life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was? Or if you need a new ride today, choose a Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicle. We have over 100 to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with our 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right.
Join us.
Whitey hit the text window. He said, so glad the baseball is not flying out. Maybe at some point they'll get back to playing baseball. I think there's a happy medium. We want home run hitters to be home run hitters. I remember when Greg Nettles, and not that I want to see a number this low, but I remember in the 70s, Greg Nettles, he won the home run title with 32 home runs. 32 home runs. That's not enough. That's not enough. It's nice to have the home run hitters that can get near, hitting 50, and 50 would be a big deal, and, that was it. But it's an amazing that they have kept changing this ball so many times. And the offense is way down. The 231 average, the lowest in the history of April in Major League Baseball history. It's only 152 years. But how much of that has to do with the shift, too? And maybe the batters now will change it. Remember, Grizz, when you were taught to hit the ball hard on the ground somewhere? You were told you got to hit the ball hard on the ground somewhere. Now nobody talks about that. Remember having to run laps if you hit the ball in the air? For every time you hit the ball in the air, they'd make you run laps. Yeah. Now it's, hit the ball on the ground hard somewhere. It was a thing. Now it's just about launch angle. So maybe it'll change. And it's certainly, for the first time since 2015, first month of the season. You'd have to go all the way back to 2015. You got to go back about 7 seasons for the last time that happened. In 2019, which was the year of the home run, there was 2019 when the baseball, MLB hitters hit the most home. It was hitting going on and everything else. Eric Hazeltine will join us. He is the voice of the Grizzlies. Next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Gunnersville views throughout the round. Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Some controversy.
This at Total.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
Here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho. Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass. By Valley Equipment went out the North Parkway, north of Winchester Road, the one down on the South Parkway, the original as well. And they've got everything. Whether you're a contractor or homeowner, you want to get the job done like a pro, you can get it done with Valley Equipment. It's going to be a great weekend of weather. It's a great time to get that done. Nobody has as much equipment as in the Tennessee Valley than does Valley Equipment, and they can take care of you. Check out Ross Robertson. It's been Hotline off game. I'm not sure which it was last night in Memphis. He is Eric Hazeltine, the voice of the Memphis Grizzlies. Eric, welcome back to the show. How are you, man?
I'm good, Tom. How you doing, bud?
I'm fantastic. Did you go looking for the Golden State Warriors broadcaster and drop an elbow on his head or something like that? I mean, this is pretty physical, man. I mean, everybody was going at it.
We are longtime friends, so that would not happen. I actually worked with Tim a long time ago in Sacramento before he took the job with the Warriors. He was up with me, and we came from the same spot, so it was pretty fun to be up there with him and these last two games to be able to chat with him after. It's definitely been physical. There's no doubt about it.
Let's establish something for the listeners. You are from that area of California out there. Your dad, the last I knew, was a Warriors season ticket holder. That's the team you grew up with, right? I would imagine. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, the Run TMC days. We sat about the top of the 3-point line behind the visitor bench. They were great seats, some great memories. I didn't go to every game. My dad went pretty much Team 14 with them a year. There were nights I didn't go, but I went and saw all the teams I wanted to see. And then, basically watching the Warriors was enough for me. They were fun. And, it was awesome to be able to cut your teeth, so to speak, as an NBA fan. I grew up loving Dr. J, but watching that on television. And then as the Warriors got better, my dad really got into it because he was a baseball guy initially. It was a blast. It was great to be there with him, and I'm always going to be thankful to the Warriors PR staff because when they closed their last building, which became Oracle, but I knew it as the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, they made sure I had a ticket and for the finals Game 6 in the final game in that building, and I was there when the Raptors won it, which was great for me to see because I had some friends with that organization. But I took a walk down to where our seats were before they dug that arena even deeper, and just kind of remembered the good times with my father there. And so it's kind of neat to have this matchup. It was fun the first time we did it back in 2015, but now that he's passed on, I get a lot of memories every time I think about playing Golden State in those days, long, long ago when I was a teenager going to games with my father.
So they were in Oakland then, right? Were they always in Oakland? Mm-hmm. Weren't they in San Francisco originally and then Oakland, and then now, of course, they're back across the bay in San Francisco?
Yeah, they were in the Cow Palace originally, and then they came over to Oakland, and there was the multi-use stadium, which the Raiders and A's used, and the arena was right next door, and now they've moved to an absolutely phenomenal facility right down the road from where the stadium is phenomenal. We used to joke as A's fans because where you grow up there, you can only be a fan of one or the other. People don't really like it when you're a fan of both, or they try to say they don't. I'm sure people pull for both, but I once made a joke to one of our front office execs from that area. I said, yeah, I loved going to A's games, but, man, I hated when people wore the half A's, half Giants. No, I didn't, but thanks for telling me.
Well, it was like when
my career survived that.
When Billy Crystal did the movie the City Slickers, right? When he did City Slickers, he wears a Mets hat in that now player, and he had a chance to possibly go on and whatnot. And I said, if you were to get drafted by the Boston Red Sox and you were wearing number 7 for the come there, and you left me a jersey, a Red Sox jersey that said Abraham on the back and a Boston Red Sox hat, I got to tell you, I'm not wearing it. I'm your daddy, and I'm not wearing it. I hope you go 4 for 4, and the Yankees beat you 7-5. I'm just telling you right now. Yeah. I don't know how people do that,
Yeah. No, I couldn't. My son's 10 and playing ball. I don't know if he'll ever get to that level, but if he ever ends up with that in Chicago, and so he's a big baseball guy. But it's a great dynamic in terms of Bay Area sports fandom. But now that the Warriors are back in San Francisco, I know there's a lot of fans that were upset because the fans where I grew up in the East Bay area, it was very easy to get to Oakland, a little more difficult to get to San Francisco. The ticket prices, because of the facility, are a little bit more expensive, but it's a great area. They really took an area of San Francisco that didn't have a lot going on in it, and now, along with the arena, they've really kind of built an area outside the arena with multiple restaurants. And obviously they build it, then we go into the pandemic, which was crazy, but it's going to be an entertainment area where, they'll have situations like in Toronto where they have this enormous movie screen, and people that can't get in can just go watch the game outside the arena and feel like they're there. And, the Warriors will find a way to monetize that a little bit, but also make it affordable for their fans, and everybody has a good time. It's a great facility, and I got a lot of respect for that organization. There's a lot of people that go, oh, well, they just went and bought a championship with Kevin Durant. I was like, no. First of all, they went 19 out of 20 years with not making the playoffs. They built that roster from the ground up, and then it just so happened the year Kevin Durant was going to be a free agent, every owner in the league had a Brinks truck of money backed up to his doorstep because of the new television contract. So everybody had salary cap, and Kevin Durant said, you know what, I'm tired of these guys kicking our butts. I don't want to play with this guy anymore. I like playing with those guys. Played with a couple of them on Team USA. That's where I'm signing. And, yeah, the rich got richer, and they were expected to be as dominant as they were. But they built that up organically for the most part, and the three guys that really had the hand in it are still there. So I have a lot of respect for them. I think this series has got the potential to be one for the ages, even though it's not a conference finals or an NBA finals. But we could very well be talking about this matchup for the next 3, 4, or maybe even 5, 6 years.
So when you're doing a game, and it's the Grizzlies who you work for, and you've been a voice of for a number of years now, and they're playing the Warriors, I mean, is there any kind of inner conflict going on with you there? Because, I mean, John Morant, he does something phenomenal in the game. You're going to be all excited about it. I know the way your style, and that's the way I like it. You're going to be very, very excited. But, when you see one going the other way against them, I mean, how does that work? Because I've never had that scenario for me where I was broadcasting games against a team that was my childhood team. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah, well, I'll put it a couple of ways. One, I enjoy being able to pay my mortgage. So the fact that the paychecks are signed by the Grizzlies has a huge influence in me maintaining my Beale Street blue blood. But I'll be honest with you, for a minute, as I got into college and into my young adulthood, I was really disenchanted with the Warriors organization, not only their draft picks, but the way they were going about their operation. And, they started charging fans a lot more money. My dad was really frustrated with that. They redid the arena, which, at the time we're like, okay, we don't need to redo the arena. You need a new arena eventually, which they eventually finally had, or else the Warriors were going to be in real trouble, but they realized that more early on. So I kind of just became more of a fan as I was in my mid-20s of the league itself, of players and just good basketball. I didn't want to stick die hard, and it wasn't because the Warriors weren't good. It was because it was an easy way to get past being bad, and they just seemed to find every avenue of, oh, okay, we'll take this guy. I mean, guys that when I watch college basketball, they drafted in the top 10 that I had never heard of. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're passing on guys that can really play for guys that nobody's ever heard of, and it just didn't work. But for me, as I got older and then, obviously went and then covered the Sacramento Kings, which was a lot of fun. It was great to be around that Chris Webber, Vlade Divac group that turned that franchise around for a handful of years. But once I got here, honestly, it just became, hey, this is now the career, this is the job, and the fandom kind of goes a little bit away. I still love watching the game. I love watching them play. I love the fact that, again, like I said, they kind of regathered themselves and went and did it organically. I'll never forget that they had a night where they were honoring, I want to say that the owners or the general managers, and the fans were absolutely showering them with booze in every way possible, because they had just traded Monte Ellis to open up time for Klay Thompson. And Rick Barry, of all people to be a peacemaker, by the way, Rick Barry, who's known to be, fairly aggressive with his comments. And I've met Rick more than a few times because his sons and I went to school together, and I was just calling him Mr. Rick. But he picks up the microphone and goes, hey, we're not like that here in Golden State. I was like, what are you talking about? You're like the epitome of that. You complain about everything.
Yeah.
So,
especially in Oakland, you know what I mean? I mean, Oakland is not San Francisco. I mean, Oakland is Oakland. Oakland's rough, man. It's a different deal.
What's weird about that is with A's fans, they weren't like that as much. Giants fans were known as like the much more edgy baseball fans. But when it came to football, it was obvious it was the Raiders. and then they kind of had a mix of those fans with the NBA. That's where the Warriors really blossomed, to be honest with you, Tom. It's like you had two NFL teams there, and you have two baseball teams there, but the Warriors were that whole area's basketball team, which I always laugh when people say, well, the A's are a small market team. The hell, they're a small market team. There's 6 million people that live in that area that can get to an A's game. It's not a small market team.
Right.
It's a small market stadium that stinks and nobody wants to go there. And they can renovate it all they want, but no one wants to go see baseball there anymore after Al Davis brought the Raiders back and changed the viewpoints. And it's sad as an A's fan, but with the Warriors,
and they're going to be gone. That's my late night team. I'm a Yankee fan, obviously at heart, but I grew up with the swinging A's, of the early '70s when I was that's very impressionable. The Yankees sucked; they were always out of it. By mid-August, by the time you got to 71, 72, 73, 74, I hated the Mets, so I wanted to see the A's beat the Mets, and I got into that whole Joe Rudy, Reggie Jackson, that whole group of guys. That was a blast to watch. I loved the uniforms, and I still do. So they're like my late night team. If my wife falls asleep, I'll watch the A's game at night. But it's a rotten shame. We got a Double-A team here that outdraws the A's. I mean, they have 2,700 people at a game the other night. It's just a rotten shame, and I'm afraid this team, which started in Philadelphia, went through Kansas City, now Oakland, the only thing that would be good is if they came to Nashville. If they came to Nashville, I could get my arms around that. But they're going to end up in Las Vegas. They're not going to build that stadium out there.
Yeah, I wish they would go to Nashville. I heard that rumor for a minute, and I was like, oh boy, that would be really, really fun for me because it would be something I could share with my son, who's a little baseball player himself. And so, hopefully Nashville will find something. There's obviously going to be some other opportunities, but yeah, it's different. It's a different world, and that night with the 2,700, I think they included the parking lot attendants, the peanut vendors, everybody working the game as well, because there was like 47 fans in the building. We're heading out there. I was thinking about, wow, maybe we'll go to an A's game, and I went, nah, we'll wait. And then the Giants and Cardinals actually have a series when we get out there, and on Mother's Day, I'll head over there with some friends to see the Giants. And we used to joke, hey, the Giants built a stadium, the A's built a team in the early 2000s, and then all of a sudden that stadium led the Giants to have a lot more money in the bank account, and you look at their payrolls, and it's like 5 times greater than the A's payroll, so there's just no way you're not going to be a better baseball team.
Andrew Wiggins had a nice dunk last night. I mean, that was nice.
No,
it was okay, but that's not John Morant's dunk. I mean, the internet blew up. I'm looking at all the websites I do my prep in, and they're saying, it could be the dunk of the playoffs and this and that. But get the hell out of here. That John Morant dunk, still, if John Morant is the 10, that dunk, then the Wiggins dunk last night was like a 7.5, okay, to John Morant's 10. It was a nice dunk, but it was not John Morant's dunk.
You might have some East German judging you there with that one. That's a little harsh in the figure skating world, but
maybe an 8. I'll give it an 8.
It's so funny because you know how people are on social media, and you read and you're like, well, here are the two problems with the Ja Morant dunk. One, Beasley's got clear defensive position, and Morant makes contact. And two, he does this, and there's a push off on the screen. And I'm like, can you not just sit and enjoy greatness in front of you? That's the problem sports fans have. We've got to microanalyze every single minute of every single game to the point where we are, looking at things and going, wow, that's not that great. This guy did it better. You're crazy. What he just did is insane. It's not a 7-footer like he did to Jakob Poeltl early in the year, but Malik Beasley's not a small human being. And Wiggins' dunk last night was massive. The dunk by Gary Payton in Game 1 was massive. But Ja Morant has the capability of doing that just about any time he's on the floor. And last night, some of the plays that blow me away, Tom, he had a layup where he hung in the air, scooped around. I want to say it was Jordan Poole because he had 5 fouls, and he scooped around them and basically made it so, they couldn't block the shot. And there's maybe 3 guys on the planet that can elevate like that and hang and make that shot. And when Ja is at his best, which he was last night, I mean, it's not just the points. You look, he had rebounds, he had assists, he was defending.
He was a maniac. He was all over the place. Yeah, I ran that scoop back because I thought he had to land. I thought is he back on the ground? I ran back. I'm like, how the hell did he hang in the air that long. And I know it doesn't weigh anything. And that's the other thing about it is you would think for a guy that attacks the rim like he does, you would think he would get banged up because he's so slight still, and he'll fill out a little bit. But 47 points, the last 15 points for his team just absolutely took over that deal. But it was very, very physical. You did have the, Gary Payton taking the shot from Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just say this. I'm very biased about this because I don't like Steve Kerr. I don't like him. I think he's a pompous ass. I don't like his politics. I just don't like Steve Kerr. and I think that and I'm totally honest with my listeners. I think my political views taint a little bit the way I feel about him, but I think he's an ass.
Sure.
Having said that, his comment about it being dirty and there's a code and the code that you play. What about the code for Draymond Green? I mean, does his guy not follow the same code? I mean, what are you talking about? How can Steve Kerr talk about the code when he coaches Draymond Green? Come on.
There's a lot of that going around the internet today too, where people are like, "Wait, you're talking about the Grizzlies being dirty? Look at these pictures of Draymond Green when you've been coaching him." There's one, the famous one, obviously against Oklahoma City, where he decided to extend his right leg into the lower abdomen, as they say in wrestling. Area of a Thunder defender, and then there's a picture of him defending LeBron James, where he basically is blocking the shot, but has his left hand palming his face. And look, with the Draymond one, it wasn't that it was one flagrant two; it was that he committed two flagrant ones on the same play, and that's kind of the way it was explained to me. It was like it's not that either one of those was enough to eject him, but when you don't get to, because you commit, like if you commit a foul, like guys will say, once you've committed the foul, just go all in and don't let him get the shot up. But if you commit two separate flagrant one fouls on the same play, which is essentially what happened, he hits Brandon Clark in the head and then lands and starts pulling him down by the jersey, which is not a basketball play. And so now you've got two of them. The referees are like, well, he just committed two, so he's out of the game. Just call it a flagrant two. What they should have done is said there are two flagrant one penalties on the same play, with the contact to the head and then the clear grab of the jersey and the pull down in a non-basketball fashion. Thus, it equals two flagrant one penalties, eject. And that's, maybe they should have explained it that way. Maybe they can't explain it that way, but that's how I took it to see it. So, look, what happened last night, it was unfortunate. The minute I saw the replay, I even said on the air, I said, Dylan Brooks is done. Dylan Brooks is going to be asked to no longer participate in tonight's festivities, so he will be on his way to the back.
What about the next one and the next one? I mean, do you expect that there'll be a suspension that goes beyond, getting tossed from that game?
Got a chance, because they set the precedent earlier this year when Grayson Allen went up with Alex Caruso of the Chicago Bulls and legitimately went for the shot block, but then on the secondary motion to block it again, just absolutely crushed Caruso at the rim. Caruso lands, breaks his wrist. He's out 6 weeks. And, the league actually got chastised by a lot of people saying that's all you get for breaking a guy's wrist. When if Grayson Allen doesn't make the secondary effort, he probably just gets the flagrant one and Caruso doesn't get hurt. These guys sometimes they get lost in the moment. They're aggressive and they're trying to make a play. I don't think Dylan Brooks left his feet with the intent of taking out Gary Payton. This isn't like Jerry Sheeston going at Kurt Rambis once upon a time, where he just absolutely clotheslined them. And back in those days with the Pistons and the Celtics and the Lakers in the late 80s, early 90s, where, I've talked to Rick Mahorn multiple times. You came in the lane, they said you weren't going to walk out of the lane without feeling being in there. That's how they played. And that was accepted. Now these guys make so much money. There's, like he said, this code of you don't hurt a guy, you don't do this, there's too much at stake. I don't think Dylan intended to do that. I think it was an overly aggressive, energy moment where he just swung and unfortunately swung and clubbed him in the side of the head.
Yeah.
Take his penalty. I do believe he's going to be suspended, in my opinion. I don't, for the Grizzlies' sake, they hope he won't, but I do believe that the league's going to say, we're not going to let that go without doing something, because the simple fact is the guy's out now and he's done. I mean, who knows when we'll see Gary Payton again. If the Warriors do happen to advance, will he even be available for the next round? Probably not. It's a fractured elbow. I can't imagine he plays again until October. Maybe he'll get his healing done in the summer and get to work. But we won't see Gary Payton in a game again until next season. And, that's a little bit of a loss for them. He's a really good perimeter defender. He's a guy that's worked his way into the league, obviously, with a very famous father, and has, overcome all the people wondering if he's really an NBA-level player. He's shown that he is. And, you hate to see it. And even though it's, your guy, when you're calling the game for the Grizzlies, you have to be honest about it and say, that wasn't a good foul. That wasn't a real good decision.
These guys are going to have to dial it back a little bit. I'm sure the NBA is going to talk to us. Okay. All right, we need it. This thing's getting out of hand. It's getting too physical. Advantage Warriors or advantage Grizzlies if they're going to play, if it's going to be that kind of a series, if it's going to be physical like that, who does that help?
Well, if you get Steven Adams back, it really helps the Grizzlies.
Oh, you got to have Steven Adams in there. Oh, that'd be the end of all that physical stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, right.
Cro-Magnon, man.
He's been out with health and safety protocols. It was crazy last night, Tom. I looked at the numbers, and I'm looking at the box score, and it's almost like I think they put the names on the teams wrong because the Warriors were scoring in the paint. They were getting offensive rebounds and second chance points while the Grizzlies were shooting the lights out from the perimeter, and the Warriors were struggling from beyond the arc. It's like they reversed roles. Now, the one thing the Grizzlies did last night, along with set the tempo and get out on the fast break more than they did in Game 1, they made their free throws. They made every free throw but one, and shot over 90%, and that was huge because down the stretch, when they had a chance to extend leads, when they had a chance to chip away at leads if there were free throws, which there weren't many Golden State leads. They didn't lead till the fourth quarter. But when they were down and got to the line a couple times, they made them all, and that was huge because that enabled them to get points from the free throw line. And while Golden State, I thought, ran a beautiful game plan of slipping screens and kind of curling and getting into the lane, the Grizzlies were moving the basketball as well as they have in the entire playoffs and finding open shooters. And you talk about the development of a young player right before your eyes. The way Zaire Williams, the rookie out of Stanford, shot the ball last night was really, really impressive. In that moment to come back from injury and hit a couple of huge threes back-to-back that really changed the complexion for the Grizz.
Always a pleasure. Eric Hazeltine has been our guest. He is the voice of the Memphis Grizzlies, and he'll be off to his homeland to call the next few games up there in San Francisco, and this thing will be coming back to Memphis, and we'll see what happens then. I appreciate you so much, Eric. Great stuff. Have a great trip out west.
Always great to be on with you, Tom. I look forward to it, and we'll talk more about this series coming up hopefully in the coming days.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. Eric Hazeltine. He's a good friend. Good guy. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, let's shift our focus to the latest in the NIL issues in terms of college football, because this issue needs to be addressed. But by who? By who? There's no ruling body. The NCAA has no ability. They're scared, the Supreme Court now. They're not going to take on the Supreme Court. I mean, they got beat down. This was unanimous 9-0. I mean, the Supreme Court, unanimously 9-0, saying that players can make money on their name, image, and likeness. So there's no one regulating any of this. No one's going to restrict anything. These collectives know it. So I don't know who could set the rules, but we are definitely, it's not the end of college football. It's just different. But we are definitely heading for some sort of major split. What's going on with the kid from Pitt, the wide receiver, heading to USC? I mean, all of those things, that all plays into it. We'll talk about it next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We're listening to the...
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Number 1 pound-for-pound boxer Canelo Alvarez will battle Dimitri Bivol with the WBA super light heavyweight title on the line. It's Canelo's first bout in the light heavyweight division since 2019. Alvarez -500, Bivol +350. The fight Saturday night in Las Vegas. NBA playoffs, the Sixers and Heat in Miami for Game 2 in the East semifinals. Miami up a game and an 8-point favorite tonight, 207.5 the over-under. In the Western semifinals, the Mavericks +6 at the Suns, 216 the set total. After playing a doubleheader on Tuesday, the Braves and Mets once again this afternoon in New York. Atlanta plus 105. Moneyline Road underdogs. New York minus 125. 7 the set total. Ian Anderson set to get the start for Atlanta.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
There goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F-150. You'll get exactly the color and options you want, and Woody Anderson Ford will save you 5% off MSRP, plus you'll get any additional Ford factory rebates. Or if you need a new ride today, choose a Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicle. We have over 100 to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with our 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of George and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. Not everybody's going to get wet. Not everybody's going to get wet at the exact same time. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the lower 60s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Thursday afternoon, though it is going to be significantly warmer. Scattered showers are possible across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and even upper 80s. A cold front moves through the Tennessee Valley as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
This is Mike Greenberg. Be sure and download the app today. Just search for 97.7 ESPN and listen to my show every weekday right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
So, apparently when Margaret Thatcher got elected, apparently, a newspaper said May the 4th, after that, apparently.
How long ago was that, do you think?
It was 79 or 78.
What?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, seriously. I read an article on it.
May the 4th be with you, except
I
for,
know.
the last few years.
So, that's what I'm saying. So, then I read the same article that later said in the article, it said it really didn't take until, I would say, 2001 when the newer movies, when I throw the quotes out, the newer movies came out. And then apparently in California in 2019, lawmakers made it an actual day. So technically, I guess we could say 2019. So, but I've heard May the 4th for a while. So I would say, well, let's just say 2001. We'll say for the past 20-something years.
Yeah, see, I never heard it till the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, well, I had heard it even in high school. I kind of knew of what May the 4th was. I didn't know the Revenge of the 5th, which is tomorrow. Which
I never heard of that.
It's called Revenge of the 5th. So yeah, I think let's just say 2019.
Something weird going on with this internet. Now I'm logged out of my Facebook page.
It's been a weird day.
I mean, it's a weird day electronically.
Hey man, I'll get out of your way real quick. I know you got stuff to talk about. It is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I think that's what you were looking for earlier.
In a galaxy far, far away, in a time we got to find the exact wording of that thing.
But yeah, it was a long time ago. And it does seem like it would be in the future. But what I called about was the Preds are going to be done real quick. I'm trying to find a team to follow. I didn't follow the NHL this year, but I don't want to be a hater, and I'd like to watch some.
So the Wild still have Cam Talbot, who hopefully is going to be playing. I think tonight is their game 2, because the guy they started in front of him did not do very well in their game 1, and they brought a guy. Okay. They brought Marc-Andre Fleury in, $40,000 to $50,000 a year, while positively impacting the community. Every player, coveted transfer quarterback Quinn Ewers, who was from Texas, who had a $1 million NIL deal with Ohio State before he arrived in Columbus. This is the kid that forewent his senior year in high school because high school kids in Texas couldn't get NIL money. So he quit high school, and he went to Ohio State and got a $1 million NIL. Isaiah Nair, he says, unintended consequences. I told our athletic director, where do you think the money is coming from? And the SEC coach told me, it's coming from the same people who gave for years pay the other. Guess who loses out in that deal? Yeah. I mean, I don't think that it's just an unending stream of money. This is money that used to go through the athletic departments. And now these guys are paying it directly to the players. And what's going on with the Jordan Addison? He was the Biletnikoff Award winner for the best receiver in college football out of Pitt. One of the top 10 players in the nation. He went into the transfer portal just before the May 1 deadline and is headed for USC. You know the money that kid's going to make in L.A.? And how do the Pitts of the world even survive? Who the hell wants to be in Pittsburgh when you can be in Los Angeles? Who wants to play for Pitt when you can play for USC? I mean, Pitt has a chance to win an ACC title. They're not going anywhere else. If everybody else falls apart, they can win an ACC title. That's what happened last year. But they're not getting into playoff. USC has a chance to go to a playoff. They got Lincoln Riley, who was a coach who took over several of us. I mean, even within the SEC, you know what would be interesting? I'll be honest with you, Grizz.
Yeah.
You would think that the NIL within the SEC now, the SEC landscape alone, you know, who the hell wants to go to Columbia, Missouri? Right?
Who wants
now,
to go to Vandy?
Well, you could say, well, here's the thing. I want to say that about Vandy. Vandy is in the sexiest city in the SEC.
Yeah, you're in Nashville around celebrities.
But yeah,
country
Vandy
music.
Nashville is Las Vegas. Nashville is Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the South.
Yeah.
Nashville is a thing. Big money, big stars in a big city, unlike Tuscaloosa or Auburn or Gainesville or, you know, these are all lovely college towns. Baton Rouge, College Station. These are all nice college towns.
They're not going to be college towns for long with this.
That's all they are, is college towns. But Nashville is a star-studded big city. You would think that Vanderbilt would have an opportunity to start bringing in kids, you know, with big-time NIL money. Vanderbilt should have big-time. The thing is that the alumni from Vanderbilt, they don't know if the football stuff they're blowing up. They didn't go to the games when they were there. All these doctors and stuff that came out of Vandy, they don't care about football. You know what they like? Football. Because they're all from, like, India and you know, Asia and things like that. They go to Vandy. They become great doctors. But they're not connected to football. The other one would be that'll be hard to contend with, to me, would be Georgia, because of Athens' proximity to Atlanta and the huge amount of, you know, Bulldog fans that are movers and shakers in Atlanta. Look at the money that is in Atlanta. Who the hell wants to go to Columbia, South Carolina? Well, Spencer Rattler did. So now you're going to build up all of these collectives. And the question becomes, can the NCAA crack down on this at all? I don't know. The NCAA, according to Keith Ferner, is addressing NIL as it relates to the booster involvement. According to Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated, officials are exploring guidelines that reinforce that boosters are prohibited from recruiting. Schools not monitoring donors will be sanctioned for violating existing bylaws. So now you got to monitor your collective, I guess. Attorney Darren Heitner, who closely follows NIL trends, added that NCAA is focusing on not only booster-led NIL collectives, but all boosters who are using NIL to recruit high school prospects and college athletes in the transfer portal. Since NIL changes entered college sports last July, unintended consequences and additional inducements to lure recruits to campus. As Dellinger reported, the guidelines will provide more guidance to member schools on what many administrators say are NIL-disguised pay-for-play deals orchestrated by donors to induce prospects, recruit players off other college teams, and retain their own players. There's been some gray area in the new NIL era about the long-held NCAA rule about boosters being an arm of the athletic department. Collectives, for example, have been viewed as enough of a third party to skirt some of the rules. There's no one monitoring this. There's no rules. There's no enforcement agency there's no union. You say, well, why does the NFL have a draft? Because remember, Mike Florio said the draft was un-American. Why can the NFL have a draft? Why can the NFL have or Major League Baseball have a salary cap? or a luxury tax that limits the amount of money that's. Why can't the NFL pay, name whoever you want to call your top player? Why can't the NFL pay, Justin Herbert $100 million a year if they want? Why do they have this salary? Because they have a union. And the union collectively bargains with the ownership. There's no ownership of college football. There's the schools. And the players now, it's wide open. It's wide open. They're not organized under some union that says that everybody is. What's a union? A union is socialism. Let's be honest. The union is socialism. But in sports, that works. You need to have that in sports to a certain extent. That's what a union is, socialism. We want all our members to get benefits. We want all our members to get paid. The guy that's the last guy on the bench, way down there at the end of the bench, he needs to get paid. Not the exact same money that the quarterback.
I don't mind a parasite. I object to a cut-rate one.
But he's got to get paid. There's no union for college football. I'll tell you what. Mark my words. Write it down, Grizz. 11:49 on May the 4th, 2022. Someday, it might be 10 years from now. When I'm doing this sports talk radio show, I'm 71 years old. Someday, college football players will be admitted to, I think the NFL Players Association will have an arm for college football players. There'll be some sort of a negotiating arm, and there'll be a group that negotiates with schools. And by the way, the schools are going to be about 50 schools or 60 schools. MTSU can't deal with this. Troy can't do this. Jacksonville State can't mess with this. UAB can't even mess with this. This is going to be for the upper crust. We are headed towards a breakaway. We know the way it is anyway. We know if you're not Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, you're not in the running anyway, LSU. You're not in this. You're not invited to this party anyway. So who are we kidding? You're going to see a breakaway. 50, 60 schools at most are going to break away. This is a different college football. It's just the way it is. It's going to happen. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back, wrap her up next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Our latest zone deal is upon us. Log on to 977ESPN.com for Gunner's Landing. 2 rounds of golf for the price of 1, including a cart. Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. Log on now, 977ESPN.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Progressive is America's #1 motorcycle insurer, so we understand motorcycles. No, really, we have a bike translator.
Okay, this is awkward, but this bike says he'd appreciate it if you removed his skull pattern saddlebags. He feels self-conscious about them around all the other bikes, and he says you're not fooling anyone. You mostly ride with your golfing buddies. Listen, I'm just the messenger here. Oh, no, I don't want to say that. I think you made yourself clear.
Quote with Progressive and see if you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Tuesday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at GunnersLandingGolf.com. That's GunnersLandingGolf.com.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just hearing that. And by the way, nice touch turning it up when he tells you to turn it up.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does. Always going to end the show with the anthem. I'm sorry. It's too good. This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. I guarantee you, Bobby Woody, GM down there, or Bobby White, Bobby Woody. Should be Bobby Woody. Bobby White, the GM down there at Woody Anderson. I guarantee you that that's in his playlist. I guarantee you he had a smile on his face if he heard that. His service department down there is second to none. I mean, they'll do a tremendous job for you at Woody Anderson Ford. And you don't have to have a Ford to get service there. The service lanes are incredible. I mean, just absolutely incredible. And the care that they take in their garage extends to your vehicle when they get you taken care of. Get your vehicle serviced there at Woody Anderson Ford. Woody Anderson and Madison as well. And check out the gold-certified pre-owned vehicles. And you can order your F-150 exactly the way you want it. Or your Mustang. They got a bunch of Mustangs down there, though. You can go check those out. We have a Mustang and an F-150 in the driveway. We actually have 3 Mustangs in the driveway because of my sons. But we have one F-150 out there, a Ford Expedition out there. In fact, my parking lot looks like a Ford dealership.
It's a parking lot, not a driveway.
Oh, I know. It's not a driveway. It's a parking lot. I have a parking lot, Chris, not a driveway. You
No,
gotta come down
my
here.
parents have an extended drive, like a
Yeah.
two, like two basically.
No, we have a driveway, but we don't park in the driveway. We have a parking area that's next to the driveway. That's a parking lot that can hold 4 vehicles.
That's what's up.
And then the back lot next to the guest house, other vehicles get parked. But there are, at various times, 3 Mustangs, a F-150, an Expedition out there. Bobby White would be proud, no doubt about it. All right, that's going to do it for us. Braves baseball is coming up next against the Mets. See if they can split this 4-game series right here on 97.7 ESPN. The Zone.